killers, okay? They're trying to murder me and find a way to get away with it. Right now, they're trying to pretend like their voices are my neighbors or people outside or people my neighbors invited over, and trying to make it sound like they're not talking in my head. So I want to record to make it clear that what I hear in my head I can't capture on this live stream, because that's how they've been getting away with talking in people's heads. Okay? Alexa, stop.
The time is 6:06 a.m.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. So while I'm trying to get up, okay, the terrorist talking in my head literally forced me back into a state of sleep after keeping me up all night. This is murder. This is fucking murder. The bitches are murderers. They're Egyptian American Muslim women, and they're trying to startle me so that they could cuss, so that I could get kicked off of YouTube, because I'm now proving that they're psychopath terrorists. I'm finding new ways to seal all the gaps that are left in the that allow them to get away with murder. Okay, and I'm making sure that not only because the weapon that they're using, it has all kinds of uh, ways to secure the or it has ways to cue the records, or they're playing with my head. It looks for cues to see if the records need to be flagged. And these psycho bitches, they know exactly what cues the records. So I want to make sure, and one of which is making it sound like what I'm hearing is coming from outside. So I want to make sure, and making sure there's no evidence whatsoever for the weapon to couple up with, no video footage or video recordings or recordings in general, to prove that or identify that the voices I'm hearing are inside my head solely, because the way it identifies that is if it finds sources to double up on, and then it identifies whether or not the voices were external, in my environment or in my head solely. So I'm constantly live streaming to make it clear that what I'm hearing is in my head solely, so that these psychopaths can't get away with it. I'm just sealing all the gaps, because these terrorists they know how to do it. That's why you see me having this receding hairline, this stretched skin, because these terrorists don't want me, they don't want me taking pictures. They don't want me in photos with my friends or family. They don't want me marketing myself for work. So they're doing everything they possibly can, to get me to avoid any cameras whatsoever, um, so that they can, like I said, so there's nothing to identify that, for one, I'm working, for two, I'm with family, three, that the voices I'm hearing are in my head and not coming from outside, because all the evidence that the US government can gather, they can basically feed into the system, and it will pull what, I don't know if it's parts of the record or the entire record. Um, but as long as they have documents to feed the system, they can pull my records. Okay, because what ends up happening is my record will get archived, and these psycho bitches talking in my head are trying to get it archived, and and then open up another investigation that ties what seems to me ties my ex-husband's records into mine, so that they could tie all the records together and get them destroyed. And they want to have this like grip on me and my family, um, so that, I mean, literally they're controlling our minds. It's not like this is far from, this is, if slavery was an issue, this is done. The terrorists are facing the death penalty. This is fucking crazy, dude. Controlling someone's mind. And I'm not just saying like, oh, stopping people and forcing them to murder them or causing them brain damage. I mean, literally deciding what words come out of somebody's mouth, how they move their face, facial expressions, their hands, the way they walk, if just everything about that person. Look, and they're making my lip droop so you can see the chip in my tooth, so it looks like I don't have my teeth. You could tell now. I was looking to see if that's the case, and it is. All day long, they're trying to get me kicked off of YouTube because it has community rules, and each video is screened by YouTube, and so they try to get me to violate the community rules so that I can get kicked off. And so they're constantly saying things that hurt me, like, haha, bitch, I made your hair fall out. This is what the terrorists are saying in my head. Or they'll say, like, any wound, any injuries that they've caused me, they'll discuss it. They don't allow me to heal. Okay? For one, my hair obviously hasn't grown back in 2 or 3 years. All despite the fact that my doctor said it was telogen effluvium and that it would. In the contrary, it actually thinned more. And they're like, haha, and trying to use it to twist my arm to stop me from saying that I hear them in my head, so that they could get away with murdering me and going back to investigate my daughter and my ex-husband and anybody else that they need to quote unquote investigate, while they do a quick sweep of all the evidence so that the government has nothing to hold over their heads to have access to the records produced with the weapon that they're using. So I am making sure I am seeing doctors. There are medical records. I'm using, and I have Medi-Cal because I can't afford medical insurance, because these terrorists they don't want me to have money to buy my daughter a $50 sweater. And when I did buy her one, they made sure that bleach got on it. And she was like, Mom, how did this get on it? I don't know if it was my cleaner by accident, but the terrorists like, ha, they're talking in my head like, ha, fucking bitch, we're going to ruin everything you fucking own, bitch. Because they want me to look like I don't do things for my daughter or my kids. I can't afford to buy my son clothes. He's going off to San Luis Obispo. This kid needs a whole new wardrobe. And they're like, ha ha, you fucking whore. He needs me to pay for his rent. And luckily, they didn't destroy my credit to the extent that I couldn't get a Parent Plus loan. And that's what I have to rely on. But literally, I mean, honestly, they want to destroy every aspect of my life, so we have no resources. So I'm hanging on to them and what they want. Oh my gosh, thank God I went and applied for Social Security. Thank God I applied for welfare. Thank God for the Parent Plus student education loans. Thank God for what we could get our hands on. And all of that could be used, all, and they don't want us to have those type of things because the that means the banks, the Department of Education, if they want to feed my education, my loan to, to find out why I couldn't pay, they could sit there and feed the they're playing with me, they're making me pass gas, they're making me vomit. So I sound sick and stupid, okay? Uh, they don't want the government to own any records and say we lended her money. She had a car accident that obviously is on public. It's on uh, what is it called? I want to call it eminent domain. Is it eminent domain? I can't remember. They're playing with my head. They know damn well I knew what I was saying before they started. They're playing with my memory, fucking with my memory. I can only. They're like, ha ha! All you can remember are four-letter words, bitch. It's just this is crazy. So, anyways, I'm making sure there's medical records the U.S. government can feed the system. I'm making sure, and on them, that I am schizophrenic because I hear the voices in my head. Making sure I pulled a student loan, and they were like, ha 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 ha, we fucked up your opportunity to get another loan, dumb bitch. Ha 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 ha, because they don't want for me to have access to anything that the government can feed the system to pull the records that are produced with the weapon that they're using to talk into my head. I swear. My daughter, I'm getting reimbursement. They're trying to see if they can make me forget to submit my last reimbursement for her tutoring, because that's another program paid by the Department of Education. They don't want us to have access to anything. Yesterday they because they want me so badly to ruin my shoes if I wear open toe shoes. So this is another thing that they do so that I don't get dressed up and look formal and professional. They dry my feet to the point where it aches, like they're aching. Okay, let me show you. Yesterday they were so red. Look at this. Okay, they're extremely dry. So I could put lotion on it and stretch the strap of my shoes. And they're like, ha ha, you fucking bitch. I did it once at my open house and I regret it because I wore two shoes because these bitches were playing with my head. At first I wore my first one and I was like, oh, my feet are slipping, let me try the other one. And both sandals I ended up stretching a little bit. And they're like, ha ha, we're gonna fucking ruin everything you fucking have. The men are trying to tell me their women can go to fucking work and look professional, and after all the murders and they laugh like nobody would ever suspect our women are terrorists. Ha ha, they have their education, bitch. You fucking bitch. And then they're causing me strokes so I can't even do a simple math application or put together an email. And on top of the fact they're laundering money. I mean, when people find out what these terrorists would have done for money and see that I'm working my ass off, like they're lazy ass tramps that sit and talk in my fucking head all fucking day and murder. And then they frame people and make people look either suicidal or like drug addicts or like they make them look like they're criminals and they murdered somebody. They're murderers. They just made me go cross-eyed right now. And they want to get away with that. They turn around, act like they're innocent human, and the women act like they're innocent human beings after torturing someone so that they can't work for their family. They broke my dad's back. And they gave him 5 heart attacks. He had 3 herniated discs. He had 27 stents in his heart and a fibrillator. Okay? And 3 herniated discs, and he had 2 surgeries on his back. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. Okay? They need to be sentenced to death. They murdered my dad. I can't even cry because they're playing with my head. So I can't cry because they don't want me to look like I'm in pain while I'm making these live streams or videos and bring out the evidence to prove like 98% of my hair. I have pictures. I have so many pictures of the hair. I have a Ziploc bag full of the hair that they made fall out. This is the 3rd time I've done it to show you, like stuffed. The bag is actually like it's puffed out from how much hair is in it. Look at this. Look at where my hairline is. I have pictures on Facebook. Loren, Lorenb. Okay, Loren B. Lorenb. Go check it out. Of where all how thick my hair was. I mean thick. I mean thick. Okay? And where my and they laugh like, look at that ugly bitch. Look at another one another one down, and like they're doing this to all kinds of women. I want them sentenced to death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I swear to God, these bitches are making people rot from the inside out, okay? And then rot. My feet are, they're so cracked from them dehydrating my feet. Okay? They make them rot. Like, this is the equivalent of chopping someone up into tiny pieces, and while they're still alive, okay, and amputating parts of them until they die. This is the fucking equivalent. And mind you, there are homeless people that they've actually done that to, that they've made their legs rot until they have had to amputate their legs so that they're immobile while they're homeless, so they can't leave the streets, dude. So that the bitches talking in their heads can sound like a car. Just they what they do is they'll and I'm starting to understand how powerful and how psychotic this weapon is. So they can gauge the patterns of traffic and make it sound like the cars driving by, make it sound like people in the cars driving by saying things like, as soon as somebody drives by, and it's simultaneous, fuck you, bitch. And then they make it sound like it's fading away in the person's head. And they've done it to me. They've done it to me. When I first started hearing them, I was living at my mom's house. And I thought one of my neighbor's kids was cussing me out. And it sounded like he was in his car. And literally he was in his car, because I look out the window and him and his friends were driving away. And that's exactly what they did. It was like, you fucking bitch. And it sounded like he was driving off, saying it. So for damn sure they do that to the homeless people. I want the women, the women are so adamant about helping bail their men out of facing the death penalty that they are rotting people. These are not women, or these aren't like your gentle, these are psychopath terrorists. To call them women is an insult. These are terrorists, okay, that just look like us and have our body parts. But these are fucking terrorists. That's all there is. These are fucking psychos, dude. This is another level of psychotic. They belong in caskets. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Do you understand me? They're murdering kids. They're murdering these bitches. The blood on these bitches' hands can fill stadiums across the globe. All of them. The wars that are going on are over these weapons that these psycho bitches are using to talk inside my head. Genocide is happening in Palestine because they can't stop the terrorists from talking and controlling people's minds with these weapons, and they're struggling, okay, to to get people to cooperate, to get the weapon is a detrimental to mankind. The United States government, and then it has allies that absolutely need it because of terrorists like the ones talking in my fucking head, that don't have a Department of Defense and a military to support themselves. So it's like they're in this limbo trying to get these bitches to fucking to disarm. Because as long, and it has to do with the trade lines of Palestine, because these terrorists, as long as they can make claims to trade lines, they can make claims to utilizing this weapon and saying that they need it for whatever reasons. It's starting to become more and more obvious that this is what this is all about. It's to use the weapon. These terrorists want world power. They want to control the world because they've committed so many crimes, and they're not intellects. They don't know how to hack into heads, and that's why the U.S. government's they're objecting to all of their psychotic, authoritative type of of rule, like the way they want to govern over people, because they're like, you guys can't govern. You're not smart enough. You don't know how to hack in heads. This is obviously a weapon that people discovered. If you can't discover it on your fucking own, why should you be able to fucking use it? And clearly you know how to manipulate the records. Clearly you know how to you're murdering people. Clearly you're not making your own fucking money. Clearly, if you can't figure this out. But they've manipulated records, they've manipulated people, they've destroyed, like, they've divided people into different religions. They've done all kinds of shit with this weapon. These bitches need to be sentenced to fucking death. They are psychopath terrorists, and one of the groups that is behind it are not all of them, but there is a group of Egyptian American Muslim terrorists, women in particular, that are after the government once cornered their men, okay, into the death penalty, hopped in to bail them out. Okay, like this is some kind of a fucking game. They're psychopaths. After these psycho piggish, they're not even pigs. These men are dirt. The women are pigs rolling in this mud. Okay? These psychopaths have traveled the world a gazillion times, have seen everything, till they're bored and disgusted of gorgeous women. They've seen it all. That's how much they've done everything. Okay, and the terrorist women are stealing little kids' opportunity to travel the world, to live. Okay? So that they could protect the men from the fucking death penalty, who are the biggest pigs, who contribute absolutely nothing to this fucking planet, and who have done everything that people could only dream of. Countries of people who are living in third world countries that can only dream to see what these terrorists have done. I want the bitches sentenced to death. The women are fucking pigs, dude. They're talking in my fucking head. I want to make it clear that what I'm hearing in my head, I cannot capture on this live stream. They're fucking psycho trash. Do you fucking hear me? every day. 98% of my hair fell out, okay? This is an injury. They stretch the skin of my forehead by making my face swell every fucking day. Every fucking day. They don't want me they want me feeling unattractive so that I don't make videos. And when I do, they're hoping that people will, and it doesn't even matter. They want me worried about the mainstream society and not the people governing over these weapons, because the people governing over these weapons are the ones who could put a halt to these investigations. They're the ones that they can start to supply the evidence to say, hey, wait, we need to put a stop to it. There's a crime going on. Everybody halt for a moment. Let's review these records and sentence these terrorists to death. And if they need, whatever they have, there are people that govern over it, and it's obvious. It is so fucking obvious by the script that these terrorists use to talk into my head, the way they camouflage when I'm outside in public. Alexa, stop. Okay? However, they're pretending they need to investigate. Alexa, stop. So if I'm at work for 8 hours at a time, okay, and it's too long of a stretch, and that weapon, it's unethical the way they designed it. It's unethical for it to surveil longer than it needs to. So it does a quick investigation and then it concludes it. So for it to continue to surveil for hours and hours and there's nothing to investigate, alarms the records get flagged. The system gets alarmed, and the records get flagged to be reviewed. Okay, so they start freaking the fuck out when I'm like at the office for more than 2-3 hours. So they can only camouflage for so long before it starts looking suspicious. They're fucking weird, dude. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my fucking head. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Do you hear me? They're talking in my fucking head. They're talking in my fucking head. They're talking in my head with a war weapon, with a mind control, mind reading war weapon. Until the day I die, I'll be seeking medical attention for schizophrenia. Okay, I'll be seeking a neurologist. I'll be taking imaging CT scans, MRIs, you name it, on every part of my body. I'm going to do full imaging of everything. Okay, my x-rays on my teeth, x-rays on my chest, making it clear, my lungs are clear. I want them sentenced to fucking death. They are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. And any injuries, I want the U.S. government to have access to my medical records, to feed the weapon so they can request to see how did this all happen, so that they could sentence these bitches to get death and get them locked out of that system, so that they can no longer have permission to use it. Because once these terrorist records are flagged, okay, and anyone who had access to or was so-called surveilling me as well with this weapon, I'm on any one of their records, it will basically freeze their accounts to log into this weapon, and it will review all of their records. And then further, it will allow the government to investigate them the same fucking way. The same fucking way. And they're going to fucking get it when that happens. Thank you, God. So I'm going to make it clear what I hear in my head. I can't capture on this live stream. Every morning they make me look like I'm doing drugs. My face is dehydrated. My face is discolored. My skin is stretched out. My hair is, my head is swollen. They don't want me going to work. It's the fucking women. And they don't want me making attempts and people reaching out to me, because they don't want it to be obvious that, look at how many people reached out to me and nobody did business with me. Because if nobody's doing business with me, it's going to be suspicious that these terrorists are obviously trafficking them away from working with me. And I'm making an attempt every fucking day to reach out to 20, 40, 50, 100 people a day. I went as far as calling 300 numbers a day on a on an auto dialer. They're psycho. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them sentenced to death. They're talking in my fucking head. Do you hear me? They're trying to mock me. They're like, that bitch is done. They're talking in my head. I can't. I gotta get ready for work. My face is so swollen and discolored right now. And they want me worried and arguing with them about it. Because while I'm like every morning, now that I know, it's like, well, since she knows, let's just keep hurting her and get her kicked off of YouTube. And mind you, they would have done that anyway because they don't want me in photos and they don't want me around people. But they probably wouldn't have done it at the speed and the scale that they're trying to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. They want to see if they can murder me in the next 2 years, dude. For sure, they wanted me to die before my daughter turned 18. That's how they intend to open up the investigation that includes my ex-husband. I'm gonna make sure they get sentenced to fucking death. Look, you could tell. Look at my skin. This is all swollen and discolored. This is murder, so why don't you fucking do it if you can do it? The women are desperate. The women are desperate and they're getting me to scream. Okay. They're getting me to scream. She's like, get the picture. And I look at my face and it upsets me and they know it's upsetting. And then on top of the fact, there are several of them talking in my head. So I don't know if they're forcing the words out of my mouth because they know I have self-control. Like, there's so much going on in my head. It's just, this is insane. Okay? This is upsetting. This is what they're doing to my face is upsetting. And then the women are pouring salt into the wound. They are so fucking desperate to get away with it. The bitches will fucking for damn sure be sentenced to fucking death. And I'm screaming, and I was saying to her, she's like, get it? I'm like, well, these injuries, this suffocating me, my eyes, the discoloration, it's murder. Why don't you just fucking do it? Because she's like, I can do whatever I fucking want. And then why doesn't she just fucking murder me? They're injuring me. What the fuck is the difference? This is considered murder. Because they're fucking trying to manipulate the records. And they haven't. And they want me kicked off of YouTube. They're fucking trash. They keep calling me retarded. I want you to see the back of my hair so you see. Look at my hair. This is how much hair they made fall out. Dude, I can't. It's like, I don't even, it's so thin. And you could tell the chunks that fell out. let them fucking she's hurting me, she's hurting me, and the men are forcing words out of my mouth. They're looking, they're making me look at the back, then they're commenting like, look at, we made you a hunchback, we made you this, you have a fat back, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And honestly, my posture is terrible. And then I did a mommy makeover. They had the doctor sew my muscles so fucking tight that I'm literally leaned over. And they think, and she just said, "Sah." She's desperate. She wants to kick me off. She wants me kicked off of YouTube. The terrorist talking in my head is attacking me. She's a psychopath serial killer. They're saying they're taking control of my mind and blocking me from being able to think. And they're saying that I want them to die and their kids to die when I don't want their kids to die. Okay? I don't even know who these bitches are. They're murdering me and they're going after my daughter and my ex-husband and the rest of my family and friends of mine with this weapon that they're using to talk in my head. They're just trying to murder me and find a way to get away with it and open up another investigation. It's sick. They're saying it in my fucking head over and over again. And then they occupy my mind so I can't think in my head and say, "Oh my God, that bitch she's murdering me and she's going to murder my daughter." They don't want me like alarmed. They want to occupy the parts of my mind so that I don't think about this. So it's obvious that they're trying to suppress my mind from thinking. And they're dictating what they're not. Luckily, your actual mind doesn't down when you think to yourself. You don't actually have a voice. So she's talking in my head. Luckily. But that voice that it's occupying my mind so I can't think, so I have to talk if I want to say something. So I can't hear my own voice in my head. The men are trying to sweat, so I take off my clothes so I'm naked so I don't videotape. So I'm not recording what's going on in my they're making me cuss so I don't record what's going on in my house. They're trying to get those pigs, okay, off the death pet, they're trying to get them off, trying to see if they can help them get away with murder. I want those bitches sentenced to death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. I'm done talking. They're getting sentenced to death. They're garbage. There's no way in fucking hell. I've heard enough. I've heard enough of this shit. Their men are filthy, disgusting garbage. Do you fucking hear me? No, I want them to see, because they could feed this to see if you ruin my back. I want them to see. I want them to see. This is literally like chopping somebody up into pieces, okay? And murdering them. while they're still alive, like chopping off their leg, chopping off their arm, chopping off their, until they finally die. Okay, if it's discovered how many people they've hurt, how many backs they've herniated, how many herniated discs they've caused different people, how many these bitches are done. I want to know everything. The women are sick trash. The women are psycho trash. So one of them is trying to get me to get kicked off. She's just like a chihuahua, like a bulldog. She's just going off in my head. So people, when they go into this, they don't want people seeing. Now that I'm making it obvious, I want people to see. I want there to be plenty of evidence. So your natural response is to go into fight or flight mode, and when you can't flee, your body goes into a fight mode. But there's nobody here to fight, so I'm just cussing at thin air, or what looks like thin air. Okay? But if you don't know that I have schizophrenia, you may think I'm talking to you. You may think I'm on the phone, I'm being belligerent. You might think I'm talking to my daughter if you're my neighbor. You can't see through the walls clearly. You don't know if I'm making a live stream. You don't know if I'm on the phone. You don't know if I'm talking to my daughter. They're manipulative. They're psycho manipulative garbage, dude. And they keep attacking. They're murderers. They are serial killers. The women are professional serial killers. One of the women is continuing to attack me. And the men are disgusting. Like, it's the death penalty. You think we're like, they don't care. They get as piggish, as dirty and low down as anybody could ever. Like, this is the most criminal act ever committed, ever. In they don't want you to see my forehead. Ever. They don't want the government to be able to measure it, because the government, I know they've been watching them. They have songs, 6ix9ine, Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, Obama. They're shaking hands with the presidents now, because they're all in it together to send these terrorists to death. And they have a song named after almost every single one of my family members. And nicknames that my mom called my dad that nobody would ever know. 6ix9ine came out with a song called Gooba, Gooba, okay, which now I know translates to go better, and that's what the terrorists were telling my dad, go already, is what they were saying. They murdered him. And anyways, he made a song that's called Gooba, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how the fuck does he know this? So it's obvious they're watching my family. So they have videos of me from every angle to see what my forehead looked like, what my hair looked like, my teeth look like, my face, my facial features. They know what I look like on a good day. They know on a day that I was being attacked by the terrorists. They know everything. So the terrorists don't want me recording at all. Now they're making me go cross-eyed, and the women and the men are trying to slow me down from getting ready for work. They're done. They're facing the death penalty. I'm done talking. This isn't like this. Before it was like how and who and talking to people and explaining to them that I'm hurt. But now talking isn't good enough. I need to actually live stream constantly. They're hurting me. They're hurting me, and look at my back. I want them sentenced to death. The women over the women now. Because the men would have died. They would have died. They've seen the world a gazillion times. To the point of disgust, they've cheated on their women. They've retarded gorgeous women and had sex with women, non-consenting women. They've had it all. The men have done it all. Literally. To the point they're disgusting. And the ones protecting them are their sisters and their moms. And the ones, and then they're marrying their friends, their psycho brothers, terrorist friends. They're all part of the organization. They're psycho, stupid, weird trash, dude. The men would have gladly died for these hookers. For a fact. Why they did what they did, and they did it in a rush. They wanted to rush and see and do everything in case they got sentenced to death. And why they started, and I'm sure that's the reasoning behind their cheating is like, we're gonna fucking die anyway, do whatever. They're dirt. The men are straight mud. And the sisters sit there and console each other. Like, don't worry, he'll never do it. I'm sure, I'm positive. I'm sure that's how they keep each other from losing it, because they're such psycho trash. So they don't get caught. The bitches are willing to murder for money. Their arguments aren't like our regular arguments. And the extents that they'll go to are
far further than any boundaries we've ever set for ourselves.
They're sick in the fucking head. Get off of me. It's obvious if I'm getting up. Look at this swelling. Look at this. Okay, what time is it? It's already 7. I want to put my makeup on. I want to be out of here by 8.
Who are they discussing? Get the picture. Who are you discussing? Get the picture.
They're pretending to be people they're not. They're pretending to be voices coming from outside, and they could be discussing anybody. If that's the case. The terrorists talking in my head are fucking trash. I want them sentenced to fucking death. I'm done talking. They're fucking out of here. Fucking stupid bitch.
Ha ha, oh ha ha, ha ha, she tried to pull the wool over my eyes.
And she's serious though. It's like, well, she's just throwing shit at the wall. She's just throwing shit. What's that saying? Seeing if it sticks. You know you're desperate, bitch. They keep making me go cross-eyed. They're screaming in my head. Yeah, I know, because I shut off the camera. I'm changing. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Oh, by the way, today I have the dermatology. I go see my dermatologist. Go get another biopsy done. I want the bitches sentenced to death. After there's so much evidence that we can't take it back. And it's non-void. And you were right about it. Sorry. That's how I am. I think want to go party. It's very nice. They want to murder and then go party. They're not improving anything. No, I don't think so. Sorry, not on my back and not on my watch. There are women like Kira Nish they deserve that title. And they've earned it, not you. And Lauren and Celine and Jessica and Jackie. and Mary and Terry Machinthorne was Beta. Those are women that earned it. And Heidi. There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head right now. They're slowing me down. They're slowing me down. They're slowing me down. They're slowing me down. They're slowing me down so I don't get dressed.
Good morning. It's 7:05 a.m.
I've disconnected that. All day long, all the women do is freak out while they sit on their fat asses and scream in my head. I obviously cannot see them. I hear them. I hear them. That is it. If I continuously say this, it's obvious it's schizophrenia. Every day, the same narrative? For over a year? I've been making videos? You're out of here. It's schizophrenia for the lack of having, for the because to discuss it, okay, to discuss what's going on, it gets too wordy, and it starts to sounds like something it's not. So the government has labeled it schizophrenia when you're being attacked by terrorists. Okay, until they can have access to these records that are produced with the weapon that these terrorists are using to talk in my head. Thank you, Beyonce. I love you. Okay, so the women have been screaming for the past hour. I need a little break, so I'm muting this. Um, so I could just play a couple songs, get my mind right, and then I'll get right back on this. Okay, I had a break. I took a break. So I want to show you the swelling. See? This is all swollen. Anybody who laughs at this, which they're laughing right now, is clearly a psychopath. Because it's not like they're stretching out their own foreheads.
Welcome to Market News. Here's what we just got for you. 14 minutes ago from CNBC, SpaceX's stock gained on Tuesday and looked to snap a 7-day losing streak after announcing August 4th as its maiden earnings report 14 minutes ago from CNBC. Americans will have a rare opportunity to use votes to directly shape tax policy with 26 ballot measures on taxation across 13 states set for midterm elections. 35 minutes ago from CNBC, Novo asked the court to permanently stop Lilly from running the deceptive ads and require the drug maker to issue corrective advertising. 40 minutes ago, the co-founder of StockX dumped chip stocks before their 20% slide. Where's putting his money now? 41 minutes ago, how to successfully deal with a micromanaging boss. An hour ago from CNBC, U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer's comments the Trump administration could impose new tariffs just as other duties are set to expire. An hour ago, if timing the stock market were easy, the Iran war would have proven it. It's done the opposite. An hour ago from Welcome to the Roaring 20X, here's how this earnings season will keep the bull market strong. An hour ago, Americans are skipping lettuce and salads as investigation into Cyclospora outbreak continues. An hour ago, time to buy the dip of momentum stocks after a punishing July drawdown? Here's what history tells us. Total of 10 headlines have been reported.
And signed up and they were okay with it. Did I feel? Not to unconsenting, but hey, he did it. They were, and he did. So there are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists when I make it obvious that they've made my face swell. They start screaming, "You fucking bulldog," in my head. They're talking in my head literally every second of the day. Dude, if you only knew what these terrorists were saying. You can't see the terrorists. They're talking in my head. You have no idea who they are. Stop joking around.
They wanted somebody to live. What the fuck? They would have if they just let these pieces, they're playing their porn on their eyeballs. They just let those pieces of shit get sentenced to fucking death.
No one believes a word we say.
You're a sneaky bitch.
The terrorist women talking in my head keep getting more and more aggressive, talking in my head and trying to control me, manipulate me, or twist my arm. They're bothered by the fact that they can't twist my arm to make me cooperate so that they can murder me and get away with it. They keep saying in my head, basically, bitch, if you keep saying we're talking in your head, we're going to talk in your daughter's head. That's the fact. That's a fact. And they keep saying, see how we made you have pterygium effluvium? We could do that to your daughter. See how we made you we could give you chest pain or a heart attack. Remember when you rushed your daughter to the hospital? That was us. That was when her heart was so fast and her blood pressure was like above 200, dude. They were like, that was us. That was us because she drank a Celsius. The women talking in my head need to be sentenced to fucking death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women, I want them sentenced to death. Do you hear me? It's the women are disgusting pigs. Truth be told, I want them to hate me because I don't want them feeling sorry for me, to be completely honest. Because if they feel sorry for me, they know how to psych their mind out so that they look like they're innocently crying over people. This weapon can read minds. It knows if someone's talking, if they're lying, if they're being honest, if they're murderers. And I want to make it clear that on those terrorist mind is murdering me, and that's it. And I want to make it super clear, it's them I want sentenced to fucking death. Like they're crying. They cry after they murder people, and they play with their minds like, oh, that's so sad. Oh, they'll say, I'm sure they say to themselves, Rebecca Grossman needed to go to. They're suffocating me. Rebecca Grossman needed to go to prison so that after murdering those boys, what they're really saying in terrorist talk is that they had to murder the boys so that they didn't have entitlement to the records that are produced with the telepathy weapon that they're using to talk inside my head. But they psych themselves out to believe this fantasy that they're not terrorists, that they're innocently crying with the victims of the crimes they've committed. These bitches are fucking psycho. They're just psycho, sick trash. I've never heard anything so sickening in my fucking life. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. She was like, what are you trying to say? I'm trying to say what I said to the people that know that you're a terrorist that needs to be sentenced to death. And they want people like me to come forward that are being attacked, that are being murdered, just like Mark and Jacob Iskander and Rebecca Grossman. Stupid lying piece of shit. That's what. Because Rebecca Grossman doesn't know. They're not talking in her head. They don't have to talk in everyone's head. They have an entry point, and that person that they're entering from, okay, is the one person that keeps them able to investigate everyone in their network or community. So not everybody, they need to talk in their heads. Only the, I guess, the people that they've labeled, that they've named specifically in their investigation so that they could keep the weapon from timing out. She just made a spitting sound in my head. But it's an attack. Because they don't want me going to work. Because it's too obvious that my colleagues don't hear them, and they all know that I hear voices in my head. All day long they hear me talking to myself. And I'm not on the phone. I'll be sitting. And now it's like I'm making live streams. But they still know it's weird. But it's like whatever makes me feel confident and comfortable at work. So people don't, they're not going to stop me from what I need to do to make me feel secure, because they know that I feel attacked by these voices in my head. One of the terrorist women just said, never mind. She's ripping my hair. Well, and she's like, haha, bitch, we made you look old. We made you look old. These are injuries. These are psychopath women. They're Egyptian American Muslims. They're talking in my head. They need to be sentenced to fucking death. They're hurting my back. The women are hurting my back. Look at, I'm like literally bald over here. It just looks thick because it's short. I'm about to grow it out so you guys can see it. They're making me go cross-eyed. So they're trying to get me in fight mode again. And they know that... Alexa, what time is it?
It's 7:48 a.m.
It's at 8 o'clock. So they're trying to get me in fight mode again. And she's like, this is... What did she say? She said something like... I'll remember. It'll come back to me. Something along those lines of like, this is the most abusive thing you could possibly do to anyone. So they try to use type of language while manipulating your brain activity to make it, and then somewhat like make it sound like it's you when it's not you. And these are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. طب انتي مش واقفة جنبي، انتي برا، فالناس برا ما سمعوك، مش سامعينك ازاي؟ ها؟ ها؟ I'm asking the terrorist how she plans to explain that she's not standing next to me, okay? And she's not like somewhere in proximity where I can see her. So obviously she's talking from somewhere outside. Why can't anybody else hear her if she's not here within these walls? So if I can hear, according to these terrorists, I have neighbors upstairs, okay? I don't have anybody beside me. And the wall that I share with, I would be able to hear those neighbors and the neighbors upstairs.
but the neighbors upstairs also share a wall with the next door neighbors. Okay, why can't the next door neighbors hear them? No, no, no. Lying piece of shit. Dude, I want the women sentenced to death. She's like, it's attack, 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 attack. Like, okay, it doesn't make sense. You're right. Let me just keep attacking you. Haha, I did it to get on your nerves. I said it to get on your nerves. Mm. When else are you guys gonna recruit your kids? Try it. So they say things that just don't make sense just to try to get under my skin. Anyways, I'm gonna go change. They're forcing words out of my mouth. They're trying to force me to talk. There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. In my head, they're saying, they're playing with my head. The terrorist women, they're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. They keep saying, haha, bitch, we made you have those spider veins. We made you lose muscle in your leg. We made your legs, we ruined your legs. We're ruining your body. We've ruined your face. Like, oh, it's attack after attack because they want you in this fight mode. They want you fighting so that you sound belligerent and violent like them. They want you to take on their who they are, and so it looks like they have something to investigate. Okay, they don't want you in in the flight mode. Okay, where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go to work. I'm gonna occupy my mind. They want you in a fight mode. This is constantly. They are constantly attacking me. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head with a war weapon. Okay. Oh no, let's see what time my appointment is. The men, because I making it clear. I hear the women, and they want their women to get away with it. I mean, obviously the women got in it to bail these psycho terrorists out of the death penalty, because the government finally cornered them. So the women hopped into investigate. So the men are abusing me right now, and they keep saying, because I'm explaining what I know, they're saying, ha ha, we made you look like a bulldog. You look like a fucking bulldog, bitch. Rebecca, yeah, I guess. So the terrorist talking in my head, he said, be kind to yourself, Renee. We're not in. So everything new that me and my daughter get, they break. Look, I want to show you. They broke this. Guaranteed. They've already scuffed up my rims, and they're trying to. They want me in a car accident. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They said they trafficked my son into the car accident he got into, totaled his car. Alexa, what time does Original Hems open up?
Original Tommy's on Sports Drive in Lake Forest is open today from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Alexa, what time does Original Hems open in Lake Forest?
I couldn't find one in Lake Forest, but Original Hem Studio on Lake Forest Drive, Suite East in Laguna Hills is open today from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Why would you be screaming that at the top of your lungs? So people can hear you. If it wasn't for the women, the men wouldn't be doing this. The women are 100% responsible